Hi everyone, I hope you're having a good day. I've been having a pretty good day. It's a gloomy day in my little corner of the world. I hope it's a sunny day for you. I've been thinking about self expression and being able to feel free to express yourself through the way you present yourself to the world. So, I've always been the kind of person that loves jewelry. I love big earrings, and I've always loved rings and bracelets. Um, Ever since I can remember, I've always loved decorating myself, so to speak. And I particularly enjoy ethnic jewelry or handmade jewelry. I know this is not handmade, but I usually, every country that I travel to, I try and buy handmade earrings that were made by the locals there, or bracelets. I try and buy a bracelet from each country, a handmade bracelet. And I've always enjoyed that, and it's something that I love doing. I love wearing big, ostentatious things. A couple of years ago, when I entered the corporate world and started working a corporate job, I realized that I stood out like a sore thumb, and that, first of all, I was super young compared to everybody else. And second of all, the corporate world, if you have ever worked in a white collar job, the corporate world is coded, male, pale, and stale for the most part. And it's expected of you to be very muted, polished, professional, and to not stand out. To wear things that are very subtle. And that was very hard for me, because although I understand that you have to present yourself in a professional way, I also wanted to blend my own style. And of course, I never wore things that were unprofessional for the work setting. But I've always been the kind of person that I at least have to wear big earrings and all my rings and stuff, because that's how I feel me. If I'm not wearing my rings and I'm not wearing earrings, I don't feel myself. I don't feel like I'm me, because it's more than just jewelry for me. Jewelry is my way of subtly conveying who I am to others. You know, when I wear my jewelry, to a certain extent, I want to be perceived as global and creative and artistic, right? And I feel like people that dress in a certain style or wear certain things, when they're out in the world, you wear those things to let others know who you are, subtly know who you are and what you stand for. And it lets others who think the same way or are artistic or creative like you, to kind of like a stranger, if they also like wearing big, ostentatious earrings or rings or necklaces. I've always had a thing for necklaces, and I love South America. When you go to South America, they're in the Amazon region, Ecuador, Brazil, Colombia area, you can find a lot of jewelry that's made out of the seed called tagua. And oh my God, they make some beautiful, beautiful necklaces out of that, and earrings. I have so many tagua earrings. I just became so crazy about all the jewelry that's made by these Amazonian tribes, right? And I just love their art, and I love showing the world when I'm back home, or even when I'm out and about somewhere else. I love showing the world other people's art, and I think that's important to me. But anyway, in a subtle way, my earrings, my style lets other people know, other people that think the same way or are creative, like, hey, I'm also a creative, or I'm also artistic. Even though I'm not using my words to say that to a stranger, they could probably, because we all judge, right? We all, and it's not necessarily harmful judgments about others. Sometimes we're like, oh, that person, if they have, I don't know, pink hair and they wear black or something, you're like, oh, that person is goth. And let's say you're also into the goth style, and you see somebody else out in the streets that is wearing a similar goth, outfit or something like that, then oh, that person and I are kind of in the same wavelength. You might have different opinions about things and different ways of perceiving the world, but you can relate to each other through your style. And to a certain extent, that's what I hope to do when I'm out and about and I'm out in the world, wearing my jewelry, wearing my necklaces and my rings. I want to convey to others, hey, I'm this creative, artistic person, but it's also my way of finding my posse, of finding my tribe, finding my people, because if somebody else is wearing the same thing, or not the same thing, but, similar style, then I know, like, oh, that person and I could probably be friends, and, they're comfortable with expressing themselves through jewelry or through their clothes or whatnot. I've always also liked wearing, colorful clothes or things with a lot of patterns. Now that I work from home, I don't feel the need to always dress up like I do when I'm out in the world, out in the corporate world, not just the corporate world, but out in the streets or something, or I'm going out. I become more muted because I still wear my earrings, I still wear my rings and everything, but I don't wear my necklaces all the time, or I don't wear my colorful pants that I have, my pink or magenta colored corduroy pants, or colorful sweaters and things like that. Anyway, what I was trying to get at is that for the longest time, when I entered the corporate world, I felt like a fish out of water because I felt like I had to be muted, and I felt judged too. I felt judged because you're not supposed to show off, or you're not supposed to stand out in any way. You're supposed to be muted, polished, professional, and I get it. Like, I get you have to, it's like the placebo effect, right? If you see a doctor in normal clothes and they just walk into the doctor's office and you see them, you might think they're just a regular patient. But if you see them with their coat, with their white coat and a stethoscope, you're like, oh, okay, this person is knowledgeable, and it's all that placebo effect, right? It's the belief that wearing or looking a certain way guarantees that that person has some kind of expertise. I get that these are the rules of society. But also, within the rules of society, I've had to learn how to navigate my own individuality and how to express my own individuality. And that's been very hard for me because, for example, with my Tagua earrings or ethnic jewelry that I have from Africa and all these other places, I realized that not a lot of people liked that kind of jewelry when I started gifting people with, I would bring some of my friends really do like ethnic jewelry and ostentatious things, but I know other people have said to me, well, Megan, I didn't really like those earrings because, we're comfortable with each other and they weren't trying to say anything scathing, but they were just honest with me. Like, I don't really like those earrings. Or I've had people say, oh, you always wear rings, don't you? But in a very judgmental way. And for a period of time, I started to question my reason for wearing rings, my reason for wearing earrings, my reason for wearing necklaces, my reason for dressing a certain way when I'm, in casual settings. And I started to dislike my style. But then I realized that I started disliking my style when other people started to share their dislike for my style. So it wasn't the fact that I actually didn't like the way I dressed, or I actually didn't like my rings. It was other people's opinion that made me question my way of expressing myself, And I think jewelry is so important for me. Earrings, rings, bracelets. I wear bracelets in casual occasions. I don't wear a bunch. I used to wear like tons of bracelets in each arm, like a lot of bracelets. But nowadays, I don't anymore. Not because I feel like I've outgrown that, but because I just don't feel like that anymore. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I wear a bunch of bracelets, and I love that. But it's not something that is important to me anymore for my own self-expression. But anyway, jewelry to me is like adornment. I adorn my body with earrings, with necklaces, with rings, with bracelets sometimes. And I like ethnic bracelets. And like I said, I collect bracelets from each country that I go to. And that's my way of showing up to the world. That's my way of decorating this vehicle, this vessel that I have. And it's not really for what other people have to say, although there is an element to it. I'm not gonna lie and say like, oh, it's not for other people's opinion. No, because like I said, I do want to be perceived as artistic, creative, global, but I understand that some people will think of me as eccentric, unprofessional, sometimes a bum, or just terrible style. And that's their opinion, and they're entitled to their opinion, of course. But I'm also entitled to wear what I want and express myself however that makes me, however way makes me feel me, makes me feel feminine and beautiful and creative and artistic and in my body. This is how I like to express myself. And I don't know, I guess this video is just about jewelry and why I love jewelry. That's been on my mind lately, and why I wear jewelry. But anyway, I hope you have a good day, and I hope you wear what makes you happy. Peace and love. Bye.